I'm feeling a little thoughtful tonight. Not melancholy, just thoughtful about the past. I had a great weekend. I got to see my granddaughter and enjoyed so much just her. She's 2 and 2 months. And we had so much fun just talking. And something happened this past weekend with her that just reminded me of the past. And that was you'll notice the beginning of this video, the picture in the thumbnail, or the for the the beginning of this video, there's a little picture in the beginning, and that is a picture of a book that I made 27 years ago when her father was a baby. And so I realized I've been making books for at least 27 years, actually longer. But I made a book of his favorite toys. I just did little cartoony sketches of his favorite toys, laminated the pages, and sewed them into like a cardboard cereal box cover, then covered that cover with blue and white flannel fabric. Well, that book has stood the test of time, and she is now reading it and enjoying it. And she knows it's Daddy's book of favorite toys. I'm not sure she really understands that, but she loves looking at the pictures. And one of the pictures in that book is one of his favorite books when he was little, and that was Madeline. So I've been reading her that book. So she's been enjoying finding that page in his book and then matching it to, what she knows about Madeline and the story I've been reading to her. So I thought I'd do just a little quick, like a journal with me. On this page, this is my granddaughter journal that I started for her. She's 2 and 2 months, but I think I've showed this before in another video. I made like a faux leather cover, added some fabric details, and then made them look leathery. The binding is just a travel notebook TN style binding where I can add or remove pages. It has some bling here, a little precious moments, little girl praying, a little crayon, things that I thought would make me think of my granddaughter, a little purple rose, a little bird. And then I just write in here whenever I want to write about time I spent with her, memories of special things that happened. So I write in it maybe every couple months or so. And one nice thing about a journal where you're just recording some memories is that there's no rules. Like the only thing I put on this page just now this evening was some of the words that would describe our weekend. She is talking a ton. She's imitating everything you say. And the moment we arrived, I think Mom and Dad were telling her Nana and Opa are coming. So when we arrived, she called us this double name. It's Nana Opa. It's Nana Opa. And everything we did or played with her, she'd go from one back to the other of us, showing Opa something, then wanting to hug Nana, then wanting to hug Opa. But it was so cute the way she'd say, it's Nana Opa. So we did a ton of reading of books, and we of course, I played with her toys with her. So I got to see some of her favorite toys, and one idea for me is to make another book for her of her favorite toys and laminate the pages and do the same thing I did for her dad 27 years ago. So I just put the date of when I went to see her, and that's all I'm really going to put on this page. I will tuck in, these were the tags I already had here, but I might tuck in some more details on those tags and journal on them later. And I'm going to journal on this later. But here's the prompt I had. She's only 2 years old. And it's so true. Every once in a while, you just want to pause and enjoy the age that your children or grandchildren are right now. Pause and enjoy that they're only 2 years old, and that's going to be a brief moment. But I thought that'd be great to glue on here and remind myself to enjoy the right now with her. She's only 2 years old. So one of her favorite toys was this little stuffed animal that she called, first she was calling it Kitty, then she was calling it Foxy. So I'm not sure. I think it looked like a little stuffed fox. So one idea is I'm going to simply draw her little favorite toy. I drew a little sketch of it already in pencil, but I think I'll just outline it in, this is a pigment liner, permanent. And you can see that in that first illustration on the opening page, my sketches in my son's book were not perfect, and it does not matter one iota. He enjoyed that book so much. I think he still enjoys it even though he's an adult. And my granddaughter definitely was enjoying it. It's just very simple illustrations. And I'm going to just make her a little foxy or kitty, whatever it is. Little dark nose, little half smile, little eye. Had one little highlight. And this was kind of a white line. And so it was kind of orangey, this little kitty. So I'm going to fill the rest of this page. I've got my Barrel Prismacolor pencils. Someone gave these to me as a gift probably 20 years ago. And they have lasted so long and have been such good quality. The color pigment is so nice in Barrel Prismacolor pencils. I've used them for years and years. They last a long time, occasionally run out of certain colors, but it's easy to buy a replacement of that color. So this little foxy was kind of a pale orange, so I think I'll start with this darker orange and then add some more yellowy orange to it. It was almost peachy, so this won't be an exact representation of it, but that's fine. I'll go back and add a little more for shadowing. And the other patches of the little foxy / kitty, whatever it was, were white. And one way to make white look like white is to add just some little blue accents around the edges, and that kind of gives the white a little depth. This part of the ear was white. Because white is never truly white, there's often, especially on fur or on stuffed animals, the white has shadows on it. So I think I'll add some blue shadow across the entire little foxy kitty. Maybe under there, a little shadow. There, and I think I'll add a little more dark orange as shadow. But I enjoyed every moment with her, and it's never long enough. You know, when I leave, I'm thinking, I would enjoy so much more time. Fortunately, she's only 2.5 hours away. That's very doable to have a weekend or even an overnight. And I'm so blessed. I am so blessed and so grateful to the Lord that I do have that time with her. But she's growing so fast, I have to remind myself that she's only 2 and take every moment that I get to go spend time with her and support mom and dad and encourage them in their parenting. They're doing such a good job. They make such a good team. I'm so proud of them. I'm always praying for them that they will have the wisdom to know how to raise her, and that they'll just encourage each other and build each other up. Anyway, that's little foxy / kitty. And I just wanted to give you a little idea of how to, well, I guess it's just a journal with me. So even if you don't find any tips in there, you might have still enjoyed following along. I have some tutorials on how you make your own foam stamps. This is just foam and cardboard and foam and wood to make your own rubber stamps. These are some stencils or templates I've made of birds that you can just remake over and over. And just an idea of how to catalog a little moment in your life. I'm going to glue this little, she's only 2 years old. I think I will ink this up so it kind of pops a little bit. I'm getting away from inking as much as I used to. And it's really fun to just enjoy a clean edge sometimes, but I still do enjoy inking, but I don't do it all the time now. And I kind of like the look of both. So there are certain times when I like it and certain times when I'm okay with it not being inked on the edges. Let's see if I can get that pen back in there. So this is just a 2-page spread of 1 or 2. Where do I want that? Maybe here. 1 or 2 days with my granddaughter and thoroughly enjoying the stage that she's at where she's talking up a storm and enjoying her toys and enjoying her books. And I was just enchanted with the time I spent with her and her mom and dad. Thanks again for listening. Oh, you know what? I meant to mention, the whole point of mentioning this was the fact that I made this book 27 years ago, and that I actually was making books even before that, because I got to have a chance in Germany. I grew up in Germany, and we had something called an art workshop on spring break. And on spring break, we had this chance to go to a week-long workshop for art. So I got to go several spring breaks in a row in high school. I lived in Heidelberg, Germany, but we would travel to Oberwesel, and it was like this small hostel where, like a tiny castle. And the hostel is a place that you could stay for just very little money. You'd have to share a room with a bunch of other people, but it was really dirt cheap. And people would travel around Europe this way and stay in hostels. It was like a guest house. But I got to go several times to art workshops. And one year when I was 15 or 14, I got to go to Oberwesel, Germany, to this art workshop where an author named Ashley Bryan taught us how to make books. So I think I was 14 or 15, and I got to do watercolors and make a bunch of, it was hard to come up with a story in the short amount of time that we were there, but we did get to bind the books and just play with just a bunch of ideas of how to make a book. So that probably was my first time I'd ever made a book. And Ashley Bryan was so kind and so encouraging in our creativity. And he was an illustrator himself. And actually, he's won like the Coretta Scott King Award for book illustrating or children's books. And the book, he gave us all of one of his books. He signed a book called I'm Going to Sing. And I think it's all woodcuts and like Negro spiritual songs. And so he illustrated them all. And it was really a beautiful book. Anyway, that was just a memory lane trip that I took about bookmaking. From 1996 when I made this book for my son. I did a similar one for my second son. And then another memory of being in high school and doing bookmaking when I was 14 or 15. And that was probably in 1985. Anyway, thanks for listening.